So move on to other matters now. The President of the United States, Donald Trump, says his 25% trade tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China will begin today. Fielding questions from journalists, President Trump said his decision is based on population control and life safety. He further explained that America has very big deficits with big countries.
I'll be announcing the tariffs on Canada and Mexico for a number of reasons. Number one is the people that have poured into our country so horribly and so much. Number two are the drugs, fentanyl, and everything else that have come into the country. And number three are the massive subsidies that we're giving to Canada and to Mexico in the form of deficits. And I'll be putting the tariff of 25% on Canada and separately 25% on Mexico. And we will really have to do that because we have very big deficits with those countries. Those tariffs may or may not rise with time. Countries that won't take back their criminals that they sent into us, you know, they sent them to us. They put them into the caravans and they came in. As sure as you're standing there, they were sent by those countries. Then they're going to be met very harshly with sanctions, etc.
Well, from the beginning, Trump has been preaching sanctions, sanctions, sanctions. For more on President Trump's tariffs on his red flag nations, foreign affairs analyst Kelechi Deka joins me here to discuss this point now. Now, Kelechi, these three countries have a free trade agreement with the United States. They are the United States' biggest trade partner. But isn't this a contrast to that agreement?
Yeah, well, aside from being a contrast, there are a lot of contrasts we are also going to experience in the next few weeks. And some of these are going to have a lot of repercussions throughout the next 3 years, or let's say 4 years of the Trump administration. First and foremost, there is the North American Free Trade Agreement. If the United States want to pull out of the North American Free Trade Agreement, the first thing they should do is to either call for an amendment or they say, okay, they are going to pull out. The same way they say they are going to pull out from the World Health Organization. So using trade means of tariff to sort out diplomatic issues is quite archaic. And I think that why Trump is doing this basically is because it appeals to his base who see things from his own points of view. But what they don't also understand is that when you look at some of these products, you're going to increase tariffs on. Tariffs, yes, it might work, but every tariff you impose on a product also have a dual effect. It has an effect on the person you are imposing, and also it has an effect on the economy that is imposing the tariff. But if you're supposed to goods that you are importing, those goods also going to escalate. Especially if you're dealing with China, a lot of Chinese products also have a lot of
Kelechi, now we'll quickly go on a short break. Please hold your thoughts there. And when we return, we'll continue this conversation. So we're still talking about the tariff imposed by the United States on Canada, Mexico, and of course it's three on China, three of its biggest trade partner. I have foreign affairs analyst Kelechi Deka, who was talking to us about this development. Kelechi, let's continue where you stopped, where we had to go on a break earlier regarding the first question I asked on the fact that is this not a contrast, seeing that both countries have a free trade agreement?
Yeah, as I was saying, the tariffs that Trump is going to impose is going to have a dual effect. It's like the American inflation. There's going to be an inflationary rise, which a lot of his support seem not to understand. Because by the time it affects the inflation targeting, it's going to affect the American economy. Yes, I agree, it's going to affect some of those countries also, but the possibility of those countries looking for alternative export routes are America is not in the world, and Canada is also looking for openings with Europe, and China has the world, so it's not going to trade, tariffs to settle political issues or diplomatic issues is a no-no, from my opinion.
All right, but do you get a sense that, or do you think that the White House has tried to articulate more of where the supply is, seeing that many of its goods come from either China, Canada, or Mexico? And you have mentioned that imposing these tariffs will affect not just the country where these goods are coming from, but the country that actually needs these goods, because businessmen bringing in these goods will cascade the tariff on the goods themselves for the people to buy. So do you think the White House has articulated all of this seriously?
White House has articulated all of this seriously.
I mean, okay, you look at it, how long have they been in power, for them to articulate some of these things? I think these things are just trying to appeal. It's just so that, using propaganda to try to push out an ideal and a belief system to make sure that, yes, the masses will do it, is doing it. So as long as they are concerned, they want the man to take credit for doing what he said he would do, even though what he is doing might not be favorable to the economy of the United States at present. And mind you, some of the companies that are producing those goods in Canada and Mexico are also American-owned companies. So when you are using tariffs on some of those products are products by American companies, like automobile. So those cars that are being produced in Canada are cars by American-owned companies. It's the same thing with the machine in Mexico. All those machineries are owned by Mexico.
All right, Kelechi. Thank you so much, of course, for talking to us on this development. So we'll hear from you to discuss some more. Thank you very much.